Hey guys, Jim here and welcome in once again. In my hand is a very standard sized, even somewhat overbuilt EDC folding knife. Something that we're all used to carrying, something that we enjoy on a daily basis, that has a practicality, a usefulness. It may be that you just love the design, you love that beefy feel, you don't mind a little bit of extra weight in your pocket, but it still serves a practical purpose. You know that if you pull this out, you're going to be able to cut something with it, and that's primarily the reason you bought it. However, sometimes we buy stuff just for shits and giggles. Sometimes just to see just how crazy something is. And that's where this comes in. Now, if you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know I was the guy that brought out to you the PMP Alpha Beast. I had their original prototype. There was only one of them, and I got a chance to explore with you what a 400,000th of an inch thick blade would actually, well, how it would perform in a folding knife. And yeah, the action was incredible. It carried better than I thought it would. Let's not make any mistakes. It's like carrying a cinder block in your pocket, but we're not always buying a knife based on its practicality. And this one takes the ridiculousness up to 100 because this is the Damasteel and Damascus variation. And I gotta tell you, ooh, man, oh man, this thing is utterly insane. Now, I was very fortunate to have that original Alpha Beast for a long, long time before it released. I sent it over to my friend, Metal Complex. He got a chance to review it. So between my channel and his channel, a lot of people have seen that. And he actually got his Damasteel version before I did. Mine is number one. I'm very proud and very happy to say that I have one of only 10 of these that were made. And even though you can't buy this particular variation, the Alpha Beast, in all of its ridiculous glory, has proven itself to be so popular that I think that this is going to be a regular item in multiple variations over the next probably year or two. I think I think enough people are going to get satisfied after that, after a few thousand are out in the world. So look for other variations of this. You want to go to toolsforgents.com. I lost my voice there for a second. Toolsforgents.com in order to catch these when they drop. Now, again, as I said, mine's number one out of only 10 that were made. So yes, I wish there were more available. But honestly, this is, I don't want to call it a novelty because it's so well made and it can still function as a knife. So I don't want to downplay it and say, oh, this is just a novelty, it's a gimmick, it's this. Yeah, there's absolutely a gimmick to it. Look how friggin' thick this thing is, and heavy it is, and ridiculous it is. But it is still a functional knife, and the action is fantastic. You can get it open and closed very, very easily. But there are going to be a lot of different variations of this, I predict. So keep an eye on toolsforgents.com. Every time a new drop comes out, you'll be able to get one directly from them. They're in Germany, but they ship super fast. I think I got this in 6 or 7 days from the time I got my shipping notice. So let's take a good close-up look at this utterly ridiculous, insane masterpiece and see what we think of it compared to other knives. We'll do some weight comparisons and size comparisons, and just to talk about how something can be utterly ridiculous, yet we can still love it tremendously. I think it's most appropriate to begin with how this mega knife is packaged. You know from the second you get this box in your hands that you've got something kind of beefy, kind of tank-like, kind of tough. You sort of know what to expect just from the box. Really love this style of OtterBox style or Pelican box style for packaging. I just think it's a cool, rugged, interesting way to package a knife. Now, I'm not going to be able to compare this to the one-off prototype of the original that I have because I sent that off months ago to be customized to match another one of my knives. When that comes back in with its customization complete, then I'll be making a new video on that. So, what I will do today is I will compare this to other overbuilt knives. I will compare it to other normal knives, and we'll just see how ludicrous this really is. So we'll get this opened up. And this is how it was presented. Inside is a card from toolsforgents.com, which is a dealer for PMP knives and pretty much the exclusive dealer for anything that's really, really special. So if you want to get your hands on special runs of PMP knives and some other really great knives, you want to check them out, toolsforgents.com. They're located in Germany, but as I mentioned in the intro, they do ship pretty damn quick. We'll get the knife out of there. Oh my goodness. Just look at the spine. Look at the pattern of that Damasteel. Let's get that out of the way. They send you a nice little PVC patch from Tools for Gents and one of their coins. So as you can see, they have a good partnership with PMP Knives because they make that slot for their coins. Let's see if I can get this to focus. There we go. Because a lot of times they will include their rule number 9 coin. Alpha Beast PMP Knives. And there. How cool is that? I like little things like that that are included. You know, you're never going to use it. It may just go back in the box forever and, you know, may not get seen again, but it's a really, really cool presentation. All right, let's get down to the shit, as they say. What you're looking at here and what makes this different. Now, let me kind of take a step back. If you did not see my original review of the PMP Alpha Beast and you don't really know where this comes from originally, I'm going to include a little bit of footage here to let you see what the standard version looked like. Again, that was a one-of-one prototype. They did change ever so slightly. Little things like having their maker's mark, brand logo in the clip and stuff like that. Mine was the only one in existence for about 4 or 5 months, I'd say. Then I let Metal Complex borrow it. He did a couple of videos on it. And then when I got it back, I decided to send it immediately out to have customized. That's why it's not here. So let me show you a little clip here, and you can see why this knife is as crazy as it really is. Yes, I understand. The weight of the blade is going to make it close anyway. But you can feel how smooth it is just by doing this. It is glass-like smooth. That's how little effort I'm putting into it. And when I first did that, I'm like, oh, wow, that's way easier than I thought it was going to be. I'm like, oh, man, that detent's going to be too light for such a heavy blade. And I started shaking the living shit out of it like that, and it doesn't move. It doesn't unseat from its closed position at all. And to me, that's probably the single most impressive thing about this knife. I almost pooped in my pants. This is ridiculous. Let's see how much this thing weighs. Are you kidding me? I almost pooped in my pants. That is just under a full pound. I like the milled slots that are in the flats. And I wonder if that was a stylistic choice or just a, oh my God, this blade is just too heavy. We got to take some weight out of it choice. Nice chamfer going down the spine of the blade. Nice big bevel there. Let's start with the basics. 9 1/4 inches in overall length. It's a beast. It's a 4-inch long blade. 400 thousandths of an inch thick. Now, to put that in perspective, that's just a hair under a 1/2 inch thick. So PMP Knives is owned by Patrick Holenstein, and the company's been around for about 6 years. And their real claim to fame is stuff like this, making crazy, oversized folding knives that are outrageous in some way, generally just because of their size.
I almost pooped in my pants.
Okay, now you have a better understanding of what this knife is really all about. It's just about being excessive. It's not about being practical. If you want to see a practical knife, go watch one of my other hundreds of videos on my channel. This is not a practical knife. This is, you're buying this because it's friggin' cool and you're gonna have fun with it. It's like an overweight whoopee cushion. You're just getting it to have fun with. Now, what makes this one different is this is the same bead-blasted titanium that you had on the original and the ones that were available for purchase that a lot of people ordered. But you have a bronzed titanium backspacer this time. You have a Damascus clip this time. This is a big difference for them. And that is a big, big clip. That was an expensive clip. And then a Damasteel blade. And that is the thickest piece of Damasteel I have ever seen. And I have made a lot of fixed blades out of Damasteel. And even the thickest that I've ever needed to get, 210 thou, brought down to 200 for the final product. 200 thou thick is the thickest that I've ever seen. This is 400 thousandths of an inch thick. That is very close to being a half an inch thick just in the blade stock. So again, yes, it's excessive. It's unnecessary. It's not practical. It is not going to slice through everything that you pit it up against. But that doesn't matter because that isn't what drew you to this knife. What drew you to this knife was, it's just weird and crazy and excessive. And you know what? It's damn well made. Look at that. The grinds are fantastic. Big chisel-like flat grind. 2 more big flat grinds for the top swedges. By the way, this thing is actually pretty sharp. Mine is, as I mentioned in the intro, number 1. Now it says a big old number right there. That is not accurate. I believe that number would reflect how many of the plain titanium Alpha Beasts were made. There were only 10 of these that were made. They were offered just for a very short time. They sold out immediately. MC got number 2. I got number 1. So the 8 others that were sold went instantly. This is a special and rare piece. That's why I'm treasuring it. That's why I'm going to continue to treasure it. It's going to stay in my collection because it's unlike anything else out there. Are you going to go out and buy this knife for EDC or any other variant of it? No, of course you're not. You're going to buy this because you already have a big collection of knives and you're always looking for something different, something wild, something cool. You know, like if you were a car collector, if you had a stable of 40 cars in a special underground garage under your house, every car you look at to purchase from now on, it's not going to be a practical car. It's not going to be a fuel-efficient SUV that the whole family can fit into. No, because you've already got 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 of those. You're going to look for something that, A, maybe somebody doesn't already have, something that's unique to you. And B, it's just something that's wildly different that makes you smile and giggle at the same time and fart a little bit too. It's one of those things that you just buy because it's satisfying. When I talk about how ridiculous it is, let's give it some real-world comparisons. Let's start off with other knives that are very well known for being overbuilt knives. I just had a chance to bring this back out on the channel a few days ago. The original, let's just drop that, why don't we? Okay, can you stand up now? Come on, you're not going to stand up. The original full custom Quayback from the first run of Quaybacks that Jake Hoback did. This dwarfs this. This is 3/4 of an inch thick. It dwarfs it. Okay, will you stand up this way? Okay, you'll stand up that way. So we'll do this. And you'll see that comparison as well. That is a cavernous opening as compared to this one. I mean, nuts. Absolutely nuts. This is her when you met, and her when she's finally ready to settle down. Okay, all right, enough of that. So let's get that out of the way. Break out the Chavez 229. Another nice, overbuilt knife. Not excessive, but overbuilt. There is no comparison here between the two. Look at that. That makes that blade stock look downright puny, and it is not puny. What else we got here? The Grant Gripper. Another favorite of mine. Not particularly overbuilt, but it is a big, beefy knife. Again, it clowns on everything, including my camera stand, apparently. Let's see, what else? A normal, everyday carry knife. The Devo Stout. This is the type of size and weight and thickness that you're used to carrying around in your pocket. There is no comparison. None. Let's have some real fun. Let's lay this down and compare it to the Tuzola ATCF Lite. This is a knife that I'm fairly certain, let's see, can drop inside. And if the lock bar was pushed all the way open, it would drop completely inside of the other knife. Look how nuts this is. It's utterly ridiculous. Now, for another idea of big, here's another PMP knife. This was also one of their prototypes. This was number 1, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, actually, it was 1 of 1, sorry. These have now started making it out there, so it's a little bit easier to show it. It's, you ever see a picture of Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, when he was younger, like when he was wrestling, and a picture of him now? And there's usually a caption if the picture's put together that says, only The Rock can make The Rock look tiny. Only a PMP can make another PMP look tiny. It's just the way it is. There is no comparison, really. And there's a new knife coming out. I'm going to be doing a review on this shortly, but we can just go ahead and bring it out now, just so that you can see it. This is the PMP Berserker, which is, by the way, pretty friggin' amazing. And I do believe that these are available. I do believe that you can buy these right now. Look how cool that is. So you got a almost identical length, but yeah, once again, there is no comparison in any of the thicknesses. It is, it's just utterly ridiculous and so much fun. So if you're looking for something just to make people gasp when you whip it out, insert your own joke there, then find any version of the Alpha Beast that you can. Because I think that for the novelty of having one of the thickest folding knives ever made is certainly worth the price of admission alone. And then you add in the fact that, yeah, it is actually well made. And there's just no replacement for, let me try and get a nice tight shot here. I don't know why my camera is really screwing up today. All right, here we go. There is just no replacement for high quality. This thing is built exceptionally well. Sure, the Damascus is beautifully done, perfectly flamed, great colors. But look at the care that was taken. what we would normally call a V notch, but this is more like a U notch, going along the entire backspacer in order to allow them to drop this massive tall blade into that frame without having to make an obnoxiously tall frame that wouldn't fit in your hand. Because why? It was already ridiculously thick. Look at that lockup, man. Look at the plunges. These are hand ground. Just gorgeous. They did a phenomenal job on these in every respect. They even chamfered all of these slots. So if you're running your finger across it, you don't have harsh edges to contend with. They chamfered the edges of the spine going all the way into the swedges. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, there are two things about this knife that I think pretty much everybody needs to know. If you're ever going to consider buying one and actually carrying it, you can very easily access the edge of the blade back here. Your finger, a twig, a child's hand, your private parts, anything could fit in this huge, huge gap right here. So don't go sticking your finger into it and running it down, because that is the edge of the blade. Normally, we don't have to worry about that, either with a full back spacer or with a quarter back spacer. You can't get your finger in there. The blade is far enough away from the edge, and it's, not a big enough gap. With this, there's no way around it. There's just a big gap. And if they would have put an entire full length back spacer all the way up to that massive stop pin, it would have been even heavier than it already is, and it's already really, really heavy. What I'll do is at some point in this video, I'll flash the specs up on the screen. I'm not going to belabor that point because I spent a lot of time in the original video talking about the specs. But if you haven't seen that one, you've only seen this one, at least the specs will be on the screen at some point so that you actually know what the dimensions of this knife really are. So yeah, the action feels fantastic. It's smooth. The jimping is pretty fantastic. Not the grippiest, but feels really, really good. And you know what? I want to see, just for myself, what the cutting action is like. Let me go grab a piece of paper. Hold them thoughts. Let's just see, because I know that the original I had was pretty sharp, but it wasn't crazy because it was just a prototype. Dude, this is nutty. Yeah, if you push cut, you can feel it tearing just a little bit, but you put a little bit of slicing action into it, and it feels great. Even the tip. Let me just give you the tip. Look at that. But yeah, it's a big, thick blade. You've got to push a lot through there. But that is more than adequate. That's actually kind of fun. Oh, it's so stupid, but it's so great. So yeah, they did a great job putting a good edge on it. It's certainly serviceable. Again, this is not going to be your EDC. The times that you do have it in your pocket, it's probably not a day when you're making plans to go out and do something where you need a good, sharp, slicey knife. But if you do come across something that does require something to be sliced and cut, this is going to do it. And you know what? With the weight that it's got, you could probably use it as a small axe. Your dress axe. Anyway, them's my thoughts. Thank you guys for watching, as always. Thank you to all my lovely Patreon supporters. You guys absolutely rock. If you want to become a member of my Patreon and help support the channel, you can do so down below. I very much appreciate it. Don't forget also, YouTube has added this cool new thing called Super Thanks. There's a new little button down there, whether you're watching on TV, on mobile, on your laptop. You can go and click that thumbs up with the heart around it, and you could donate $1, you could donate $5, whatever you want to do. It's thanks for what I'm doing, and it helps me afford all the knives that I'm going to be bringing out this year, and I have got a docket full of amazing knives I cannot wait to share with you. Thank you guys ever so much. I'll catch you on the next video.